Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. I'm talking about DWP again, and this time there's been new research conducted in Scotland about how people have been affected by interactions with the DWP, and sometimes even taking the ultimate way out, which is something I can't talk about on here, which is bizarre. But anyway, let's have a look at the article and I will show you what I mean. Okay guys, so here we are. So new research exposes shocking and eye-watering or eye-opening levels of bullying of universal credit claimants. New unpublished research has exposed the impact of shocking and eye-opening levels of bullying and systematic mistakes on disabled people forced to rely on universal credit working age benefit system. Reports from focus groups hosted by Inclusion Scotland in October add to growing evidence of the significant and harmful flaws of universal credit. This, how it is operated by the Department of Work and Pensions, and its strong links with at least three of those things which I can't talk about. Dr. Rihanna Price, Policy and Research Officer with Inclusion Scotland, who led the focus groups, said two of the participants have spoken about how they had planned to do this because they felt so overwhelmed by the universal credit process. She said they didn't see a way out and they had been treated like a burden, treated as if they were just parasites leeching off the state, which is something that I hear a lot about. She told the Disability News Service the issues that people spoke about were in some way very shocking and eye-opening to the levels of systematic error and bullying that are apparent in the Department for Work and Pensions. One claimant with a health condition who already had a part-time job but was using universal credit to top up their wages spoke of how their mental health had deteriorated because of harassment from a work coach who bullied them into applying for other jobs they were hugely overqualified for, and told them they would face sanctions if they failed to do so. They said the work coach had appeared to be more interested in getting them off benefits than actually helping them. An autistic claimant has spoken of the constant repeated messages sent to claimants through the Universal Credit's online journal. Price said that every time this claimant received a notification, they had to log on to their journal immediately, and the constant time pressure made them feel incredibly anxious. She said every time they saw it pop up, and usually 9 times out of 10 it was a completely benign message, they would be panicked that they had done something wrong or that they were going to get money taken off them. But the claimants also told Inclusion Scotland that work coaches who replied to questions through their journal often did not know the correct rules, so a claimant might receive different answers to their questions from different work coaches or even the same work coach. One of the claimants had been accused of fraud before the DWP admitted it had made an error. Price told DNS the majority of them had incredibly negative associations with universal credit, all that stemmed from not necessarily the system itself, although that didn't meet their needs, but feeling as if they were being targeted and criticised, bullied, because their needs were complex. The focus groups were carried out in October and were carried out online and in person, with a total of 16 claimants taking part. Price said that she was incredibly concerned by what she had heard during those focus groups. One of the claimants, who had fibromyalgia, spoke of being forced to attend a face-to-face work assessment because the contractor would not carry out it over the phone. When they arrived, they were told the lift was out of order and they were forced to climb stairs to the assessment room. After the assessment, they were so fatigued that they fell off the chair and their partner had to carry them out of the assessment building, and they couldn't get out of bed for a month while they recovered their energy. Price said that if she was able to speak directly to Stephen Timms, the Minister for Disability, Social and Security, she would tell him that the current system is not fit for purpose, and it's not just a system, it's the job centres, it's the attitudes towards people who need benefits. So many of the focus group participants were aware that this was a political choice that people in power were making. Not just about how much they would receive, but also how it was framed and how they kind of labelled as scroungers. Most of them wanted to work, they wanted to find a way, but they felt as if their employers that were putting up barriers rather than not being able to find work. She said Universal Credit Scotland is a punitive system that subjects claimants to relentless scrutiny and impossible standards. And it does go on, which I will leave a link to this down in the comment section so that you can read it yourself, but it's absolutely true. And this is in Scotland, but it's the same with DWP all over the country, I think. You know, and it particularly, you know, it's difficult for everyone to use the DWP, and this is why I've said, and I've banged on about it probably too much, but this is why I've always said, unless you've dealt with a DWP in this circumstance, you don't know what it's like. You really don't. You don't understand how intimidating, how degrading it can be to be dealt with by the DWP. It really is. And you know, not all of the work coaches are horrible people. Some of them come across quite nice, but sometimes there are, you know, things put on people that they just cannot deal with, and that is just the harsh reality of it. That there are lots of people out there who can't deal with it. I mean, you've got someone there, someone mentioned there, like, who had autism. You know, autism is something which, you know, a lot of, you know, the DWP just don't seem to understand about. You know, they don't understand that, certainly in my daughter's case, she can't always understand sarcasm. She can't always understand how some people are talking to her, and she may well get the wrong idea. And so you have to be very careful with how you know, you speak to people with autism and how you interact with them, and they just don't seem to understand it. So this is what's going on, and this is why they've said there are lots of people who are taking that ultimate situation because they cannot cope with it any longer. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this. You're probably not surprised by it at all. Neither am I. But let me know what you think down in the comment section, as always, and I will see you next time.